Hello everyone, this is Terry. Welcome to my YouTube channel Amethystastrotarot. I'm a practicing astrologer and a tarot reader, and today is 22nd of May 2025, and this video would be the continuation of the series, my series about the one decan, one card, one chart, because we actually officially got into the Gemini season as the sun moved into the sign of Gemini on the 20th of May. Now we are in Gemini season, and this will be about the first decan of Gemini. And let me share right away my what am I going to talk about today. So we are, as I said, in the as the sun is in the first 10 degrees of the sign of Gemini, so we can look at the decan rulers of the decan rulers for this decan, and according to the Chaldean, or what we call is the descending order, the decan ruler is Jupiter, and according to triplicity order, the decan ruler is Mercury. And today I would be looking at the Eight of Swords, since that is the from the Rider-Waite-Smith RWS deck. And since this is the minor arcana that is associated with the first decan of Gemini. And for the chart, today we will be looking at the natal chart of Stevie Nicks, but mostly I will focus on, like I always do, on the natal sun of Stevie Nicks. And she was born on the 22nd of May in 1948, and her sun, this is according to equal house, and her sun is in the first decan of Gemini. Let me stop sharing. So today's subject would be that. I think we can right away look at the Eight of Swords and see what kind of feeling is coming through that Eight of Swords. I mean, the Eight of Swords is a really interesting card, in the sense that, like, when we look at the figure here, when there is a blindfold and there is this, of course, the arms are all binded together. Of course, we don't know how tight they are in the behind, and what is it going on with the blindfold, if she can peek through, etc. But what we see is, like, none of the swords, which are downwards, generally, I mean downwards, when you see the swords downwards, and the sword suit is associated with the element of air, and in that sense it could be about the less positive thoughts, ideas, that thinking process when you see them downwards. Actually, none of them is touching the person here, right? None of them is touching, and actually they are around her, but they are not, like, putting a hurdle in front of her. And also here we see this water, and also her feet, no, her feet are free. Actually, she's, in a way, maybe there are some of the things that could be stopping her from going away, but actually she can walk and go away, because literally neither the swords or anything are stopping her. So it's a bit of kind of a dilemma. I see that. I mean, like, what am I thinking? What do I think, in a way that I feel, or I think that I'm in a trapped situation, no? It's sometimes I think this card asks us about that. And maybe the question that is coming through that, what kind of ideas or what kind of thinking process makes us feel stuck in a way. And if when there is a way out, and what is that way out? How can we solve this problem? And I think when we think about the Jupiter in Gemini and Mercury in Gemini, it could go, I mean, either way. I mean, like when we were talking about the Jupiter in Gemini, soon Jupiter will be moving into the sign of Cancer. There is this process, no, there is this going down the rabbit hole because you would like to uh, extend and expand your knowledge, and you would like to make as much as research, etc. It could be in exaggerated levels. You would like to learn, curious, dig, collect data. Also, Mercury in Gemini is like, it's like, that there's too much activity going on, and in the end, we may put ourselves in a situation that actually we build up. Sometimes it could be the source we could be, I mean, like I buy, like if we buy hundreds of books and then try to read them at the same time, and all the knowledge, all the data is coming through our minds, and then we say, ah, now I didn't learn anything, or I couldn't do anything, or how do I sort this data out now? How? So, in that sense, I think when we think that it's like, uh, if we manage, yes, I mean, like growing, expanding our knowledge, I mean, like being curious is, I think, great. I'm also a very curious person, and I like to learn and everything. And also, I mean, like, I think being social and being, I mean, communicating, being interaction with the people. I mean, like that with the Gemini, it's like that social butterfly, and that we can extend our ideas and everything in that way, in a social way, in a more mental level, of course. Uh, Sometimes they call it intellectual, but I think it's like this mental exchange of ideas, of the knowledge, of the information that we have, that and also, I mean, like expanding that knowledge, I think is great with Jupiter in Gemini and Mercury in Gemini impact. But I think we have to make um, sure that, or we have to understand where we have to put a limit, because at the end of the day, maybe it's not like Jupiter is not like without boundaries really, but it can really get out of control, no? It could get overwhelming in a way if we don't know how to put that limit. And in that sense, I think uh, it's like we could be asking ourselves, where do we put the limit uh, to our overthinking, or making things uh, look worse, I mean, or sound worse than they are normally are. So I think that in that sense, Eight of Swords as a card is asking us to temper in a way our ideas, our thoughts. That's something that I had liked when I was studying the traditional astrology together with the horary. And then our great teacher told us that, like, okay, you are talking about exaggeration with Jupiter, which I already used, but she was telling us that it's also temperament, which is temperance is actually, if you think about temperance card, is the Sagittarius. And then in some of the decks, you see that temperance, no, you are trying to make that balance in a way. I mean, like in some of Robert Place's decks, it's you see that it's like there is this water and wine, etc. And then you can, I mean, you can go drink your wine, but you have to find but it's better that you dilute it so that you don't come to the point of over drinking and then lose all the joy and find yourself in another situation. I think in that sense that tempering is that, I mean, to look to be able to look where we stand. I mean, like sometimes taking one step backwards, right? I mean, because when you are within the situation, I think it's sometimes hard to understand what is going on because you are involved in it. But if you have in a way, power or the strength to take a step back and then look at the situation as if you are not part of it, like we could sometimes be feeling overwhelmed, or we could think that there is no way out of the thing that we are in, or we could think that like we are overthinking and etc. But and maybe we don't have we don't know that actually we are doing that. But if we think that, I mean, like down the rabbit hole and completely lost there, maybe that's the time that we have to stop. Okay, what am I doing? Where am I going? What do I have in hand? And what do I want to achieve, or where do I want to reach, or what do I really want? I mean, like it's like, and then maybe put on the table, put all the cards open and ask, what is it? I mean, what is the real situation and how do I see that? And how do I go back to reality in a way? I think these are all the things that is coming through the Eight of Swords, sometimes in Jupiter in Gemini, and sometimes with even with Mercury in Gemini, because there is, if you think that there is this Mercury in Gemini, especially, there is this very swift, very speedy thinking, but it's like sometimes it's like the candy shop. Ah, this idea is good, but this idea is also good, but that idea is also good. Wonderful, etc. But which idea really is the one that we need to use? No, what is it? Like mutability is good, flexibility is good, adaptability is good, but we need to find sometimes to get ourselves pull ourselves actually from the air and find a way to put our feet on the ground. So that could be really important when we think about Jupiter in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, and in the case of Eight of Swords, that's the type of brainstorming that comes to my mind at the moment. After the Eight of Swords, let's look at the chart of the Stevie Nicks. This is the actually chart that I got from this is not a advertising or anything that I will I need to tell the source, because normally I get the charts from I mean, I put them, the charts from the solar fire. Oh, I couldn't talk. But the thing is that I had a problem in solar fire, and that I think I played with some of um, the buttons or something like that, and I messed up the latitude or longitude and all that kind of thing. It was temporarily, it happened only yesterday. And it looks like it got back to normal, but with the I mean, heat of and the frustration of that thing. How did I do that? I mean, how did I manage to mess all these things, etc.? I said, okay, like, let me get the chart that is already cast on astro.com and take it out and put it here. So we are looking at Stevie Nicks chart. As I said, she was born on the 26th of May of 1948, and that brings, and this is in equal houses, that brings her son, lands her son actually in the first decan of Gemini, and that's 5 degrees 04 minutes, and it's in the second house. It's like, I mean, when we look at the sun, I mean, it's like our identity, of course, our conscious part, how we express ourselves. And when we see I think the sun in the second house, it's where the sun shines, where the sun is the brightest, where the sun is like reflects all its rays, right? It's the second house. I mean, the second house is associated with what we own, our resources. I think we create resources, and also it's about our self-esteem, the value that we give to ourselves. And when we think about by the way, I know about Fleetwood Mac, and I know about Stevie Nicks, but if I say that I know the details of her life, uh, actually, I really don't know. So, I mean, whatever I'm saying is like just based on the chart, not based on anything that her life or her career as a musician or so on. And the thing is that actually we studied it at the faculty, but I really don't have any recollection. It was during I think, the synastry lessons, etc., because she was at a point, I think, with her partner in the group or something like that, all those relationships that we are looking at. Anyway, coming back to the sun in the second house is actually, I mean, like, as I said, I mean, it could give us an idea, like when sun is in Gemini, in the second house, I think that could show where I think our identity finds, in a way, the place to shine. It's where we create resources, where sometimes we make money, where we create financial, of course, income, that kind of income, or where we also have our self-value and self-esteem. And I think having sun in Gemini, first of all, I mean, it's like it really helps. I mean, like the way that a person can establish a relationship with the others. I mean, it's like through, I think, the ideas through this mental stimulation that is coming through the Gemini. I think that could be, in a way, gives the effect that, I mean, like maybe the social interactions, uh, that the groups that you are involved in, and the way that, I mean, like, you I mean, bring some kind of this intellectual property in a way to the table, could be helping. I mean, in that sense, creating resources and making sure that you also have this self-respect for yourself. I think that is coming through the power of the social butterfly. Also, I think it also means that, I mean, we feel ourselves when the sun is in Gemini, we feel complete as ourselves, or we have this conscious of our part that is reflected to the world when we uh, know about things, or when we know more about things, when our curiosity is satisfied in a way. And I think that also helps us to express ourselves better, which in the end would be connected to the self-value, I mean, no, self-esteem, the respect that we feel for ourselves. But of course, on the other hand, I mean, like, as Gemini is a mutable sign, I mean, like, it could be very important, I mean, to hold on to those ideas. And if we start changing, or if we have this, I mean, different uh, social relationships or different ideas coming back and forth, and when we are thinking about Jupiter in Gemini, especially, like, we would like to have all the information, all the maybe social interaction, all the knowledge possible in the world, then the things may start get complicated. And uh, when one idea, things that are established on one idea could look good, but the moment that we say that, okay, now this is not good, let's go to the other one, and if the change of those ideas is very speedy, like Mercury, and Mercury in Gemini, and then the changes also um, continues, then that could be the point that maybe we wouldn't be able to establish neither ourselves, nor our ideas, nor our resources. So I think um, the idea behind, the positive idea behind Sun in Gemini and the decan rulers Jupiter and Mercury is great. And that could, I think, also in Stevie Nicks' position is like, she has, I mean, Uranus in Gemini that is conjunct in Mercury, that we are talking about maybe someone that could have really innovative ideas, innovative way of thinking, innovative way of communicating, and that's outside the box thinking. They are all ruled by that Mercury in Gemini, and also, as I said, for the Sun, Jupiter, as well as the decan ruler. That could be great for especially creating finances, but it's, as I said, it's very important to hold on to those ideas. And it's like not telling now X, and then you think so fast, and then you say that, okay, there is a, I think, a bit of like, you think to yourself, but that's good, but there is better, there's no end to the better, right? I mean, I'm sure that everything could be better than they are. And then that will bring us to the Eight of Swords also. I mean, it's like if we say in a way to think that we are in a position better than it is, also to think that let me change it because there is a better idea. I think they really, I mean, in a way intersect at a point, because it's always like you think that you are overthinking, you are overreacting, and you are in a position that, oh, okay, I could do better than this, or oh, if I get stuck with this, then I will lose the chance of that. But I think at a point, um, we have to ground for ourselves, and in this case, I don't know how it happened in the case of Stevie Nicks all her life, but the things that we own, including our ideas, including our own self, I mean, we cannot change things all the time. So I think that's a way that, I mean, when we see an idea that is good for that moment and it looks brilliant, um, we shouldn't think that we got stuck with this. Now I shouldn't go. I mean, we shouldn't think that. I mean, in a way, like, why don't I search for other ways? Why don't I look for other opportunities? Maybe it can get better, but it can get worse. Can get worse. I mean, so. However, of course, I mean, when we are looking at the moon, that in Capricorn, in the ninth house, also that her midheaven in Capricorn again conjunct that moon, maybe that I'm talking all this like that too much flexibility, too much adaptability, too much change might not be good. Maybe they could be the force to ground, to steady, and to make things more practical rather than the sometimes scramble that it could get sometimes, as we have, as I have mentioned with the Jupiter ruler as the decan ruler in Gemini. So I think in that sense, to see this moon in Capricorn and MC in Capricorn, and also Venus in Cancer, which carries um, a lot of emotional, sentimental uh, type of relating to people in the house of communication, which is great. I mean, and also, of course, she has a Taurus rising, which also really gives a kind of stability and not changing things all the time. And I think when we look at in general to her chart, I mean, in that sense, in terms of elements, we can see that even though she doesn't have much fire placements, though I mean she has the Jupiter and Saturn as the in the fire, and I think she has more of the earth placements and some air, one water. That in terms of modality, but I can say that it's uh, more balanced than uh, it is. Yeah, it's more balanced because we have the uh, Jupiter, Mercury, Sun, and also Mars mutable. Yes, again, no, it's not actually balanced. That the mutability is actually dominant. That's why I think maybe all her life she could have um, try to, make sure that she doesn't change things, or she didn't um, make shifts in the term in the name of adaptability, when she could actually keep things as they are. Like looking at the chart now. So having said that, to have, of course, the earth elements in Mars as the rising sign, and the moon, and the her aspiration, her vocation, her what is calling her to see these all as the in earth placements, could also give a feeling of um, more steadiness in a way, more grounding, uh, at least doing things in a way that uh, you will feel that your feet are not in the air but on the ground, so you know where you are going in a way. I think why I don't know why I got into the that started deep interpretation of the chart, coming from Sun, maybe Jupiter and Gemini. Oh, I started because I wanted to actually focus on the Sun. My focus, I think, got into, because you started looking at the connections. There is this connection, there is that connection, etc., and then you find yourself in the rabbit hole. But I think to be able to understand, to be able to help, to be able to guide through the charts and the charts interpretations is always great, as long as we could touch a point, right? It's not about, I think, to know the right. Oh, I know everything right. No, it's not about to know the right. It's like to give a, I think, different perspective, to be able to find things that maybe didn't make sense before for the querent, or the things that were already in front of them, but they didn't realize it until they talk to you. I think that's the essence of the chart interpretations and astrology in a way. It's the guidance, it's the I think helping through the symbols in a way, not knowing the every single point, or not predicting it to the point, but it's to be able to open maybe new visions for the queries in a way. That is like from Stevie Nicks, from Stevie Nicks I started, and I came to the point of how what astrology shows, and from here that I jumped to faith and free will. Faith and free will, that could have been interesting as well, but I won't do that, of course. I will stop sharing, and I hope that for me it has been now, and it's 12:12 that I just stopped sharing and I'm wrapping up. It's been interesting. I think Stevie Nicks also um, created interesting ideas, or gave me new perspectives through her chart when I was looking at her chart. Maybe I should thank her for that as well. So that was the 1decan, one card, one chart, the first decan of Gemini for all of you. Thanks to the Eight of Swords from the Rider-Waite-Smith, and thanks to Stevie Nicks. To see you in other episodes. Bye bye.